Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux, and welcome to a battle royale. That's right, we've got Lilith, Queen of the Nephilim, and all of Malifaux, thank you very much, versus Titania, former Queen of Malifaux, risen from the grave like a loaf of bleeding angel. The buildings are impassable. Building-like things, these ones are walls and you can walk around on the bases fine, but the walls are impassable. Forest and height various 2, 3, 1 blocking rock things. Lilith saw Titania coming and yeah, I made my opponent set up first. Over here on the left he's got two of the most brightly coloured terratots I've ever seen. The Gora, which I think is a great looking model. That looks like the Misery Teddy with Retribution's Eye. The Has-Been herself. Titania with Behold My Glory, an audience with the Queen, and Aether Connection. A gooey looking Illuminated, a Wildgeist, and the Doppelganger, with Mimic's Blessing. For the home team, we've got a Terratot, the Primordial Magic, a Terratot, a Performer, Barbarous just in front of the building, with Fear's Given Form. My own Doppelganger, Lilith. There she is, looking queenly with Beck and Malifaux, because who needs any other upgrade? Or rather, who can afford any other upgrade when you've got her sister, Nakima, the true mother and rightful queen of Malifaux, but today she's only bringing the Fear's Given Form. So, close deployment was quite nice, and my opponent is wisely hanging back away from Nakima, and my plan is pretty much just sit in the centre, block off some of these rocks with Lilith's forests, hopefully meaning that most things will have to spend at least 2 turns walking. And I can try and lure and tangle in models one by one and eat them. I'm not too worried about Teddy, because between Nakima, Lilith and the Doppelganger I think we can eat him pretty quickly. The opposing Doppelganger is a bit more of a worry though, but hopefully Barbarous's challenge can protect my guys from the worst of what she can dish back out to me. From his placement with the Terratots, my opponent looks like he's going to try to get into my backfield, so I'm going to try to block him off with the Tot and then lure him in with the Performer and hopefully kill them fairly quickly. Let's do this. Turn 1, I draw 7 and drop 2 because I've got double rush of magic and I can't count, and things get started pretty quickly. So I've got a Terratot up over here, my normal Tangle Shadows target to get either Barbarous or Nakima right and nice and central and threatening. But Titania's seen that coming, so she comes out from behind the building and does her audience with the Queen, placing him behind her. And that's not a fun alley to be in. Okay guys, so this isn't my most graceful of starts. I misheard my opponent saying something about marking for death the Terratot. And the Terratot is pretty precious to me. So in my infinite wisdom, I walk Lilith up, I think twice, drop the forests to prevent these nasty things from coming through. Now Titania is thankfully blocking up this alley. And then I Tangle Shadows the Tot and replace it with Barbarous. The thinking being, hopefully I can get into Black Blood range of as many of these things as possible, Barbarous can tank it out, make them all take damage from Fear's Given Form, and basically be a pain in the royal butthole. I've sadly forgotten the idea of hanging out in the middle, actually scoring points for show of force, and maybe cut my losses with the Terratot, who turned out not to be marked for death anyway. So there we go, there's Barbarous. Teddy goes and hits him with a red Joker for damage, so he's clinging on. And because one of these 30mm bases is just a bit larger than an inch, it means I'm out of Black Blood range of everybody. I then go with Barbarous. I think I attack the Gora and do a little bit of damage. I did consider doing Bull Rush on Titania and pushing her and Barbarous back into the centre. Would have been good, but I don't think I had the cards. Should have tried to mark for death the Gora, but yeah, that slipped my mind, and then completely forgot to nimble in and put everyone in Black Blood range. Yeah, major fuck up. His Terratot goes, then mine sprints and marks it for death. We've got the Performer luring Nakima up into position, Doppelganger running around here, these two coming up slowly. And then Nakima walks. And Melee Expert's the Pretender. Did I hit? I can't remember, but between Aether Connection and Impossible to Wound, I pretty much do fuck all and it doesn't really matter. Turn 2, I do like it when I get 13s. Titania goes and Barbarous bites the dust big time. I am such a moron for not doing the nimble last turn. I think he took Red Joker damage again, actually, by the by. Titania finishes the move running away around the corner. Looks like she's hit Nekima to do some dropping. And this was a tiny positioning mistake which I think cost my opponent, because it meant that Nekima could fit in the alley to charge the Teddy, viciously Red Jokering him to death, and then melee expecting Titania doing very little. So the tree and the doppelganger advance on the centre. Over here a Teratot has slipped through my lines. I couldn't stop it, but the doppelganger was a fucking hero. She mimicked the performer, top-decking a perfect blend, pulling a Teratot with the mark for death into the pounce range of this Teratot, who killed it, and then she got back into the centre. Because Lilith's got a cunning plan to score some points and save her reckless sister. So I tangle Shadows and Black Joker. And now we've got that out of the way, ha ha ha, how much fun. I pull it off for the second time and tangle in the doppelganger and swap out for Nekima. I forget to move my trees away from this guy and maybe block his line of sight or something useful, and then I actually spend my last action going defensive with Lilith, because one could never be too cautious when you've got Nekima next to you and a doppelganger on the other side of a rock. And at the end of the turn we both reveal Show of Force. Turn 3. My opponent wins the initiative. Titania goes, hurts my poor sweet innocent Nekima, dropping some markers and shit, and then hides behind a tree like a cur. Now I'm a bit worried with the doppelganger's manipulative that I'm not going to be able to kill her with either Lilith or Nekima, and then it stands a good chance of doing me in return. So I figure, since Lilith has got defensive, I'm going to lure Nekima away with my performer. So if Doppelganger wants it, she's going to have to spend an AP to come around the corner, and then at most she'll get 2 attacks on a defensive Lilith. And I reckon I got the activations to make sure she's dead by the end of this turn. And that is effectively what happens. I think the tree attacked Lilith and then the doppelganger came over, mimicked Nekima and missed Lilith. Over here the Teratot breaks through my lines and leaves a mark, but Primordial Magic makes sure that's the last mark he's going to be leaving, making him insignificant. Over here the doppelganger fails to kill anything, takes a red joker damage from the Illuminated, but then survives everything else even when the Gorilla companion's in. Atta girl. At the end of the turn things look like this. Oh that's right, I attacked his Teratot with this one and he escaped my engagement. I went and placed his marker, leaving me a bit flat-footed. I decided I'd rather have this Teratot in the centre, so he's come back over here. Nekima's charged and eaten the doppelganger, no problem. And Lilith's got a bit caught up in all the excitement. Run off over here and whacked the tree for some pretty heavy damage. I think it's on 1 wound remaining. And at the end of the turn I put the most models near it, so the marker is mine. Wahaha, it comes over here. Turn 4, bit blurry, that's a crap hand, but I ran out of soul stones a long time ago, trying to save Barbarous and Nekima. I lose the initiative. Titania goes, and oh no, a queen has fallen. Poor Nekima, she did good. Lilith marks for death the tree and kills it. This Teratot moves over here, marks this Teratot for death. Doppelganger survives yet again and kills the Gorilla. And at this point my opponent says, yup, you got it, and concedes the game. So I think up to this point my opponent scored 2 for Extraction, 1 for Show of Force, and 1 for Leafy Mark. So I would have got 3 points for Extraction, and won 2 points for Mark for Death, and got 2 for Show of Force. Fun game. Really interesting to see Titania for the first time. And yes, she lives up to her reputation, she can take quite a beating. We didn't get to see much of her scheme marker shenanigans, but she shrugged off a couple of strikes from Nekima like they were nothing, and has got some impressive mobility to her. I did some pretty bad moves in the early part of this game, and got a bit lucky holding things up in this alley as long as I did, but I managed to pull it back a bit in the end, and yeah, gotta love Tangle Shadows. My opponent was enjoyable as always to play, and he even paid my table fee. Oh, what a gentleman. It'll have to be my treat next time. Most importantly, Lilith has hung on to her throne for another day, although I'm sure there'll be plenty more challenges in the future. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care.